Now, with her turn from lover glam girl to the folklore folks woman, the piss in the bowl fam, it. That's some bike. You know how it is. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mr. Kev and I am a musical porn star. You must be wondering why a musical porn star. Roll the clip.
Hey everyone, my name is Mr. Kev and I am the first Indian musician to release his music on porn sites. Technically, India's first musical porn star. I've got a variety of content, so if you're the adventurous soul looking for new frontiers to explore, you would definitely enjoy my videos. Sorry boring people, not for you.
Subscribe to my channel if you are new here because I make some very interesting content related to music and otherwise. That content is something that you might just like. It's been like one Mumbai minute since I reviewed Taylor Swift's last album, which is called Folklore, and here we are with Evermore. The last time I reviewed Folklore, I mentioned if Taylor Swift pisses on a bowl and records it and puts it up on Spotify, you guys will stream the hell out of it. So this is not for you guys either. But I happen to mostly get piss in the bowl fam typing explicits down in the comment sections and abusing me, abusing everything else, which many times YouTube tends to remove on its own. And I'm pissed at YouTube because YouTube, you could ask me once before you delete the comment. If at all your comment is removed, just know that it's not me, it's YouTube. So blame it on YouTube. Funny story about the previous review that I did. I actually liked the previous album. This is a great listen. I think most of the folk songs have always given the sense of comfort while listening to them, and that's the same thing that I feel when I'm listening to Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift has done her job, and many of you tend to miss that. I even mentioned that Taylor Swift did her job for me and it worked for me. But since I had certain criticisms about certain things, you're just not supposed to have criticisms about Taylor Swift. You know how it is. The piss in the bowl fam ended up coming and raiding my comments over and over and over again. There seems to be no way I can actually have a conversation with most of them who come and just type out explicits. Here we are to piss off more of them. And why don't we get on with it? Before we start, can I just admire how good Taylor Swift has been with her marketing? At least her team is just amazing with marketing. So much of it kind of borderlines this whole hypocrisy, but she has some of the most vocal fans. That's some bike. Now, with her turn from lover glam girl to the folklore folks woman, she has managed to captivate a new audience, if I may say so, and even get a Grammy nod for the album. So here's my theory, okay? This was supposed to be Taylor Swift's Spotify type album. Let me explain. There are usually two types of conventional album. One is an EP, which is called an extended play, which lasts somewhere around 30 minutes. And the second is called LP, which is long play, be a duration that would last beyond 30 minutes. This has to do with records which will have one side and two sides. If there are two sides, usually they're considered an album. One side, it would be called an EP. There used to be double albums where you used to have a double LP where you have double side recorded, double side vinyls. That is a basic gist of what LP and EPs are. The modern version of albums, right, have changed because of the whole streaming thing. Ever since we've started having streaming platforms, these big artists have actually started making use of the platform by incorporating 30 and 40 songs into the one particular album. This usually is seen with big artists, not with smaller ones, but big artists, big named artists. They usually have these long albums with like 30 or 40 songs because they count on their fans to come and listen to one song. If you like one particular song, you'll end up listening to the album. For example, let's say you like Privacy by Chris Brown from the album Heartbreak and Full Moon, and you'd end up listening to the entire album. Just because you like that one song, you would go and check out the rest of it, assuming that you would like it. That is how popular artists have been doing these things until recently. Now, in Taylor Swift's case, as I mentioned earlier, this might have been her Spotify album, Spotify styled album. Both Folklore and Evermore were supposed to be one album coming under one title, but here is the thing. People's attention span is not all that much. If you were someone who liked Folklore as an average listener, you would have forgotten about it until you heard about the Grammy nominations. Knowing this quite well, her team decided to split the album into two halves. She had some songs here specifically to suit mood and gloom of the winter, and it works really well. So way to go. The only other option that I see here for this album to exist, Evermore to exist, would be rejected songs from Folklore which did not fit particular standards or like the particular tone that Folklore was going for. But that's not what I see here. Historically, musicians have gone and done this before, where they have some rejected songs put together as an EP and then they release it separately because it did not fit into other albums, or they'll put it out as singles, not included in any particular album per se. I doubt this is the case in Tay Tay's Evermore, and I'll tell you why. Reason number one would be that it's a well constructed album. It's better in its ebb and flow than it was on Folklore. From what I'm listening, I feel it has a much better flow, and I actually think Folklore is a well constructed album, the flow of one song to another, and I think Evermore is better. Reason number two is that the songs are better and they don't sound like rejected songs. And trust me, I know what rejected songs sound like. I'm the idiot who went and listened to Heartbreak and Full Moon by Chris Brown just because I liked Privacy. Let's move to reason number three. There are some noteworthy songs here. See, there are songs that are bonus songs. Like this album has few bonus songs that you will get only if you're buying the physical copy. Is applicable to Taylor Swift's Folklore as well. I believe there are a few bonus songs that we didn't get to hear here. This is actually well planned. Editing Mr. Kev here, there are a few things that I missed out. Guys, did you notice all the songs named in small caps? Ariana Grande also following the same stint. I don't know why, what for. Is this like a show of power? If you guys know what that is for, just let me know down in the comment section below. She obviously has something to do with Scooter Braun, and Scooter Braun is the producer for or manager for Ariana Grande. Yeah, because Taylor Swift did that, Ariana Grande did this. Is it one of those things? I don't know, you have to tell me. There is something else with the strategy that she's opted for. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Apple. Apple in the last 1 year, they've completely changed their strategy, talking about software updates and gadgets twice a year to one every month. They've been dropping special events and special gadgets every single month of this last year, which is a change in their plan for what is coming up next. We'll see a lot of electronics company follow the suit just because the attention span of a person is very less now. This was kind of honed by company like Xiaomi, which started doing one release every couple of months. I think artists doing that is something that we are seeing right now. Back to the video. My criticisms for the previous review, it still holds true. Taylor Swift owns the whole one note or the flick between two notes thing.
Like that anyone without a feel your touch.
That one note thing is consistently seen. It's her style. It doesn't really work for me beyond 4 or 5 songs. But that said, I don't mind a few songs over here. Like Gold Rush is a song that is following this particular pattern. But because there is a nice little vocal start and a beautiful end, the outro feels like it was supposed to be the bridge, and it has this beautiful vocal harmonies that go on it, which works really well for me. One thing I failed to mention or address in the Folklore review was how Taylor Swift has toned down gloomy kind of a vibe, and she has mastered it well, a toned down vocal aesthetic. She also uses this one octave high voicings in some of the songs during the chorus. You get to hear it coming in and out. That is something noteworthy that I failed to mention. Now, songs like Dorothea, Ivy and Marjorie were well done songs which felt like her country roots are spilling through. I would actually have them on my playlist. They are songs that I really enjoyed from this, along with the previous song that I mentioned. The songs that I mentioned over here are songs that I really like. The song that I felt was a surprise to me, Nobody No Crime featuring the Haim sisters. I would actually enjoy listening to more songs like this, moving away from her standard tropes of the usual love hurts, my ex and whatnot. Surprisingly, I had mentioned Haim in the previous review. She's been a follower of Haim and
the Civil War for ages, and it's seen in many of her songs. It's seen.
Look at us now. We are here talking about a Haim collaboration with Taylor Swift. Her Bon Iver collaboration on this particular album called Evermore is better than her previous outing. That's just a personal opinion. I prefer this. There's much more dynamics to this. Way better emotive and expressive song, if I could say so. Another song that had me very curious for Taylor Swift is her second last song called Closure, which is a 5x8 pattern, if I'm not mistaken. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 pattern.
I'm fine with my spite and my tears and my beers and my candles.
Which is probably the first song that I've heard Taylor try that is of a different time signature other than the usual 3/4s and 4/4s and 6/8s. I could be wrong. This is a big move, and I would love to see her do more progressive time signatures like a 7/8, 11/8, whatnot. Maybe a little more progressive. That's just wishful thinking at the moment, but let's move on. Something that's sort of like a marketing stint. This album works really well. Something that I really enjoyed listening to. Now that we are done, please go ahead. Keep telling your friends about how Mr. Kev is such a dick to your goddess, Tay, Her Holiness. Comment down below how horrible I look. It hurts me no less than hot iron on my nuts. Comment on how I'm anti-feminist because, I criticize Taylor Swift, who is a popular artist. Do your usual nasty below. I don't mind as long as you don't bring up a random person, hurt their sentiments. As long as it's me, it's totally fine. Thank you for watching. Do hit that like button or maybe the dislike button because apparently I've had more success in being disliked in the previous video. And maybe if you wish to explore new artists, you should actually go check out my content over here where I do a review of indie artists right up over here. You can also check out my music content. Go click on that subscribe. Don't fail to do so. I don't care if you guys hit the like or the dislike. As long as I get to bloody monetize my channel, increase my watch hours, I'm totally fine. Do whatever you want. Go share this video. Please do so that I get my watch hours. You guys have a great time listening to this album. Enjoy Tay's Evermore. Bye bye. Mr. Kev signing off.